Hello, welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is a messy Monday. It is about to pour rain here, I believe. I believe my friends in Georgia have been dealing with rain. Is that correct? Has it been raining there?
Yesterday.
Actually, I only have one friend here from Georgia today. That's really weird.
The lake behind our house, they lowered the water to work on the dam, and it filled up entirely after the rain went. So,
oh my!
They're having to, I think, pump the water back out again so they can work on stuff.
Nice. All right, welcome everybody. Magnus, 2 weeks in a row. We're glad you're here.
Good to be back again. I don't want to be too much of a rarity.
Yeah, don't make it a habit, buddy.
That's right. That's right. Jeff Wyndon's here. Steve Polda is here. Let's see who's in the chat. Grumpy J is here. Hello, Grumpy J. Steve Yogan is here. Andrew Sada. Andrew Sada, is that what you texted me? Something we could talk about online? Or will we be spreading vicious rumors?
Now I want to hear what it is.
But do what? Autumn is here with us. Martin is here. Hello, Martin. Martin is in the chat. It's good to see you, sir. We want vicious rumors. Yeah. Well, I want to know. I want Andrew to confirm. You know, if it's does he think we should talk about it, or should we keep it quiet? Because it may be in like a private chat somewhere of what he sent me. So I need to know, Andrew. Let me know. Is this something we could factually discuss, or do you think we get in trouble and everything? And I don't want to like dance on a grave or anything like that, but
I do. I'm ready to dance.
It's the best kind of dancing. You
that's
tap
right.
shoes on.
It's a celebration of life.
Anyway, so welcome everybody. Glad you're here. Glad you're hanging out with us. Dana is under the weather because of the pollen, and Mark, I know, is traveling to the great state of Tennessee to visit family and everything. So we're missing them this evening, but this is a great bunch to talk Lego. I have not done very much building this week. This is the probably 3 weeks of crunch time for busyness for me in the spring with Easter coming up. So not a lot of building, but I'm trying to do some tonight. So in fact, I was sitting here talking with Steve and had my head down on my desk and talking, and then I'm like, "Where's everybody? Nobody's coming in the chat." And Jeff and Matt were in the green room waiting on me to click the button, cussing at me in the private chat and all this kind of stuff. So,
and he's while he's looking down building, he's like, "I guess there's only going to be 2 of us tonight." And we're like, "We're right here."
He's not looking at the screen. He's busy.
And like while he's chatting with me, Jeff is in the private chat responding to Chris.
Yeah, I finally looked down and Jeff looks like the dude in the Phantom Zone and Superman.
Let me in.
Let me in.
You should have started doing the French mime thing where you're like, "There's a wall."
You know what? That's something the French Quarter in Charleston does not have is mimes.
That's disappointing.
I'm kind of okay with that, but anyway. Well, I'll hint at the vicious rumor, I guess. There is a rumor going around that one of the major but most disliked Lego convention tours may be coming
fake convention, we'll call it that.
They
act like they're a fan thing, but they're not really.
But I don't know that for sure. I don't know. I just heard someone say what somebody said, and I'm not supposed to do that, and I'm not supposed to be excited about it, but
it's so fun.
But
I want to find out more about this.
Did they finally get sued for not delivering on their promises in their advertising?
I don't know. I don't know anything else about it.
Did it turn out that they were not what they announced, but they were actually playback?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. So I don't wish ill of anyone, but
that's what we're here for.
This but I will let you guys be those guys for me anyways. Oh me. Let's see. Y'all, what are y'all up to? Jeff, what are you up to? Let's do a quick spin. Let's just do that. Jeff, what are you up to?
Technically, I was just starting my taxes because I had an extra screen and I have I have electricity. I have internet. I've got lots of fiber running through my house.
That'll cause you to run somewhere else too.
Yeah, well, there's always that too, I guess. But so yeah, power went out last Saturday, came back on Thursday afternoon. I got back home Monday morning. No, sorry, Friday morning, because I needed to get groceries and stuff before I came back into town because of our grocery stores are decimated because everybody lost power in most of the city. I think there's still, 50,000 people out throughout Ontario. Like the storm was quite large, so I was happy to get mine back when we did. I've just been working on the Duplo train stuff. I built a curved module, which you can kind of see over there. No idea where it's going yet. I've just basically I'm just building segments of it, and I don't know what it's going to look like or how big it's going to be or anything like that. I've already got like a $220 bricks and pieces order just sitting in my basket that I keep adding parts to. So, it's kind of scary, but I'm also waiting for a better gift of purchase because the current little Easter gift of purchase is, lame, I guess. So yeah, I'm just slowly working away. Still waiting for my Duplo to come in from Finland. Some of the parts I ordered that were shipped pretty quick, but haven't actually gotten here yet. They should be here this week. Beyond that, not a lot going on, I guess.
How are your pipes?
My pipes are good. Like I said, everything's flowing well.
I was worried about busted pipes.
I know. Yeah, there was a worry because we got below freezing a couple of nights, and without my house being heated, there was a worry about that. But Thursday afternoon, my house started talking to me. I started getting notifications on my phone suddenly, and it's like, oh, first thing first, look at the temperature, and it was still above freezing in the house, so I was, everything survived, thankfully.
What is that, like 4 degrees? I don't know.
Well, it was 10 in my house, which is
that's tropical.
37, 38, maybe. I don't know what the numbers are. But yeah, I had opened up all the blinds so that if the sun was shining, it could, at least warm up the house a bit through the day. Get off my lawn. That's what he wants to say. So, but yeah, other than that, running out of parts pretty quickly. My dark gray tile is getting decimated. I think I ordered 100 plus 4x4 dark gray tiles through some program a while back, and they're all gone. And my 8x16s are pretty low. The one good thing is that my track segments, because I had to build the curve, I had to recenter everything, and so now all the track segments are actually on a 32x32 base plate. All my track segments are actually dead center. So it's 8 studs on either side. Well, 9 studs on either side. So I'm reworking all of these. I've made them stiffer too, just by adding in the other plates underneath to strengthen them up a bit. Also, I had to raise it up just for the track dip. So now my biggest issue is I've got a 48 bait. I'll have 48 by 48 plates in the corners, but all my track segments are 32 plates. So I now have to figure out building a special corner piece to kind of fit in the corners around the 48 and the 30, like a 32 by 32 L shape panel is what I'm gonna.
We were told there would be no math.
I know. Well, you were misinformed. I'm sorry. Whoever told you that.
Classic.
Sorry. So yeah, like I said, just building for the sake of building, trying to come up with some ideas. I am inspired to do stuff. I just don't know what the end product's going to look like. So. And I still have to figure out how to work in the ramps into this too, and stuff. Like I'd love to have the train kind of be on the lower level and then kind of loop around and go up and do something on top and then come back down. But building loops still take up a lot of room, right? So, and I was debating trying to use the switch tracks so they have, but I don't think I can't figure out a way to motorize it or to make it work properly, I guess would be the right phrase. So,
do you have a version of the train car, the engine, the whole thing?
Yeah. Hold on.
Of course you do.
this is my Duplo train, which is basically just literally it's the train wagon with a few bricks on top to hold storage containers, and those are the carts. So
Sweet.
So it's very low profile, and the cool thing is it sits fairly low in the track too, right? Trying to say hi with the lights.
Your mom's is really low in the track. Oh.
I was gonna say
really low, like 6 feet low.
Mine too, pal. Mine too.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, so it's like a cargo processing plant, or like it's the Amazon of space, or let's go UPS of space because they ship our Lego. So let's go that one. Yeah,
cool. That's awesome. So back powered up and back to normal. That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, good deal. All right, here's right here, Matt. Matt, what's up?
So I built the Endurance, and I lost the sail rigging type, the pliable plastic long stringy things that you attach stuff on. Called customer service. They said no problem. That we'll send you the parts. And I got all excited because I got the message, you're getting something DHL Lego. And I was like, great, I get it. And I opened the package up, and there's one part.
Oh,
I need like 8 total. They sent me 1. I'm like, I can't.
Don't.
Yeah, that was frustrating. So that happened. I am working on this.
Ooh, what's that?
The computer.
The 2-door. It actually has more than 2 doors, but so I'm working on that. I'm on the 2nd floor, probably about, I don't know, I'm more than halfway through. I think on my bag 14 out of 20. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through. But I got something in last week that I actually mentioned on Jeff's show, but I haven't talked about on this place. So I'm going to show it off. This is an Italian third-party designer. He sells a limited quantity of bricks and instructions and custom printed stuff. And he has like a temple of Lexor, which I did not buy, but I bought the hieroglyphic pack that comes with stuff. So these are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And so I was getting the parts out.
Nice.
So here's one. And then we've got Horace. I don't know.
Horace and Natasha?
Yeah, Horace and Natasha. We've got what else? Or one of these is Thoth. I learned the Greek gods. I'm not very good with Egyptian deities, but
wait, Tahat, the guy that was the German that his face melted in Red Wolf Heart?
Exactly, that guy. And wait, there's more. I got all 3 of the packs. So, and then because everybody needs an obelisk in their temple. Obelisk parts, and everybody needs just a wall of hieroglyphic writing. So there it is. And then there's like random hieroglyphic tiles you can just fill out, part of your display. So one of these points, I'm going to take all these pieces and build something. I'm not spending the very expensive amount of money he was charging for the set, but by getting all these printed tiles, I can kind of make my own Egyptian style temple. So that's really fun. And I would say the like detail on this print is really something else. I mean, it's very high quality.
Good.
Looks really good. And then today's hat. So this is Minor League Monday. It looks like Joe the Camel, but it's from the Class A Midwest League. It's the something Camels. I don't know. I forget what town it is, but I don't even think they use this anymore. But I thought it was a great hat, so I bought it off eBay.
You know, while you're in Charleston, you need to go and get a Charleston River Dogs hat. They have like 4 or 5 hats.
I already had one.
Well, I mean, they have different. I mean, they even have different team name hats, like the Holy City and the Rainbows, and they have one in Spanish, which is pretty cool.
I think I have the Spanish one. It's called the Copa. So most minor league baseball teams have a alternative Copa identity, and it was part of minor league baseball's attempt to like have a sort of like a Hispanic theme flavor alternate mascot, and but yeah, there's some really fun ones. I'm going to look it up right now. Charleston River Dogs. See if
Mark is correcting your Egyptian knowledge here.
Uh-oh.
And he gives you an F, and your hat has Beta Ray Bill on it. So
I'm very Eurocentric. I only care about European ancient deities. I don't care about Egyptian ones.
Yeah, they have alternate teams. Sometimes they have those available, sometimes they don't, and everything. So
it's a dog biting a baseball bat. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, but they have Holy City, the Rainbows, the something from Day of the Dead or whatever. I don't know. They're pretty cool. They may not have them all on their website and everything. So.
Why is it the Holy City? Because all the churches, I assume.
Yeah, that's one of the nicknames and everything. There's a rule: if you're on the peninsula, your building can't be taller by tradition than the tallest steeple, which is No, it's not St. Michael's. St. Matthew's is the tallest steeple.
Oh,
it's like 294 feet, I believe. So,
do they play right downtown, or do they play somewhere else?
They're pretty much downtown. They're right beside the Bricks and Minifig store over on near where the Citadel is now, not where it used to be. So, in fact, I think where you guys are staying may be near where the old Citadel is. So,
we're on Meeting Street, and we're at the Hampton Inn on Meeting Street. I don't remember what it intersects with, but it's a pretty major road. So,
the entrance to our parking lot's on Meeting. So anyway, cool. I'm looking forward for you coming down, but that'll be awesome. All right.
No, what time to be there for the Easter egg roll?
I heard you're using potatoes this year, though, or something. Did Chris freeze?
I think he's.
I think I was freezing earlier, or it felt like I was having connectivity problems. I don't know if anyone else had that.
Your mouth isn't currently synced with the mic, so yeah, you're having some connection issues.
I can hear
Steve,
Magnus, but his screen is black on mine. So
I can see Magnus. Steve's also frozen. So
I got you.
Did you seriously?
Yeah.
I thought I saw you moving, and I'm like, no, he's still too.
So am I still frozen?
No, you're fine. Oh,
okay, all right.
You're just doing like kung fu.
Oh, good. There'll be more screen time for the rest of us.
Oh, Magnus froze again because he's blurry. So I'm
either still leaning back or he's frozen.
Anyways, you were still talking, right, Matt?
I think I'm done.
No.
Well, no, you're going to continue talking because there's.
Oh, yes, I can continue talking. So
of course you can.
Yeah, we're taking a group of students. We leave Friday morning, and it's about a 6-hour drive over to Charleston. So I'm part of the honors program, and so these are some of our students who are overachievers, and they sign up for this. And our school never has money for anything, but they have money for this, so they're paying for us all to go, and they're paying for the hotel room, and we're going to go to Fort Sumter, where the first American Civil War took place. Then we'll go to Patriots Point, which has a World War II aircraft carrier. We're going to go to history museums. We're going to go to the marketplace. We're going to go to a plantation. And those are just the events that all of us are going to. And then there's going to be like the chemistry class has like their little side trip. Hey, welcome back, Chris.
Apparently, with the storm knocked out our internet.
Oh, are you?
I'm on my phone.
All right.
Y'all just keep talking. I'm going to see if I can get my hotspot up, see if I can get my computer going. So just talk amongst yourselves.
See how much. I hope you were fully charged.
Yes, I am.
All right. So we're headed over there, and we're going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we come back on Tuesday. So
okay.
I've been to Charleston several times. Well, quite a few times actually. The Citadel, which is right in the old part of downtown, has a conference on Southern politics that I've participated in about 4 or 5 times. So I've been over there a number of times. We went over there once. They have a big arts festival called the Spoleto Festival. And-
Stiletto?
Spoleto, Spoleto, Spoleto. And Thomas and I went. We got into a huge argument the first day. It's funny how you remember certain things about trips. And then the next day we had a much better day. we bought a painting at the festival. So we got 2 things that hang in our house that we bought on the second day of our trip to the Spoleto Festival, which was much more harmonious.
So, yeah, and Chris was saying it's the week before Easter, so Palm Sunday. Okay.
Well,
So-
since we're filling time, I was gonna
yeah.
debut this on Wednesday, but this is for the Canadian Brick Builders. It's the Edmonton Trappers hat. It kind of looks
Oh,
like if Eric Cartman were wearing a coonskin hat and with a baseball glove. I think it's kind of hilarious. And it's a minor league baseball team that's in Edmonton, Alberta. So in hat culture, there's a bunch of people who wear minor league hats on Monday for minor league Monday. So I'm wearing minor league Monday, but I'll wear my Edmonton hat on Wednesday on Jeff's show. So
What are
I
the
feel like
trappers trapping?
we never, what's that?
So what are the trappers trapping?
Beavers.
Baseballs.
That's why I
It's
was
a-
thinking beavers. Yeah.
It's a catcher,
correct
right?
answer.
So the catcher sets up, behind the batter. And
Yeah.
So we don't really tease Jeff's show. He's a regular on here, but on Wednesdays he does Canadian Brick Builders, and he has his own YouTube channel, and they let me participate because I could see Canada growing up from my house.
Well, then he shows up.
Any response to the invite? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you are looking for more Lego content, Jeff does stuff that we don't do on this chat. So one of the things is that he'll run through all the new sets or what's happening with the what's it called, the builder thing where people nominate stuff. He'll run through what got
Oh, yeah, Lego ideas.
Lego ideas. He'll run through any Lego news stuff and just sort of talk about what's coming out, new
parts.
parts are coming out. So we don't really run through the news on this channel, but if you like that kind of content, that's a regular feature on Jeff's show. And if you like helicopters, David Sincere is the helicopter fiend, and so he's a semi-regular appearance on that as well. So you can get your helicopter talk, and then the other Dave, he's all about space. So we got space talk. There's helicopter talk.
What I hear is Jeff does show prep, and I don't do show prep. That's what I heard.
Prep might be
Dave-
going far. But
Matt did say Dave Sincere is regular. It's a regular.
Yeah.
He doesn't have fiber, so he's not that regular. But he shows up when he can. So
he's been dealing with his basement was flooded.
yeah, last year. Yeah.
So it's been going reconstruction. So he's been a little spotty in his attendance, but he's usually pretty regular.
All right. Well, let's since I'm semi-connected again, I hope the 5G holds up, which is pretty shaky around here. I'm not sure. We just have rain. There's no storming go around, but all of a sudden we lost internet in the house. AT&T went down. So I am strung together like a Canadian in an ice storm on my phone, tethered to my.
All right.
I can't see Magnus though on my screen. I don't know what.
You can or cannot see me.
You're black. I can hear you just fine, but there's no
Yeah.
video on my end. But I don't know if other people can see.
I can see you perfectly fine. You're just delayed. Like your voice to your mouth moving is delayed, but
Should I leave and come back? See if that helps.
you can try it. Yeah.
It might
All
just
right.
be my connection too.
No, it's a little. He's a little off with mine. So
I'm gonna leave and come back.
okay.
Good luck.
I can guarantee you it's not my connection for once.
If we all leave and if we all get off the screen when he comes back in,
Just put up one of those color bar patterns, the rainbow patterns.
Yeah,
Have a
just
little.
hold up some bricks, some color bar
Yeah.
bricks, and
Exactly.
In the olden
awesome.
days, when I was a kid, like some of the TV channels would go off the air, and then like they would put up the test pattern, and they would play like the national anthem as they signed off. Like,
Yep.
He looks better.
yeah, much better. You there, Magnus? Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Everybody-
I can hear you.
everyone hold
am I-
really still, so he thinks we're frozen.
Let's see what's up with Magnus. What's up, man?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I am going to show off some. I feel like the lowest common denominator or the highest common denominator for many people who build in different themes is our fascination with minifigs. And I have been building lots of. I've been doing a lot of medieval army building, and I'm going to just show some of my armies of like factions that Lego Castle people will recognize. Here are my sort of I try to, these are the sort of classic Crusader people, but I try to make them so that not everyone looks exactly the same. Like, let's see if I can. The idea is that, you know, you mix in some different faces and some different torsos and different colored legs.
Great.
So it doesn't look like everyone is wearing like a uniform, like a modern military would be. And some of them have, you know, they all have different heads and that sort of thing. Another thing here's my take on, there's a new Crusaders shield that came out with kind of a blue and yellow field for a yellow shield. And I decided to make soldiers for that would be sort of blue on one side and red on the other. So you can sort of see like this guy here, for example. He's got
Nice.
red on one side and blue on the other. And so all the soldiers in this sort of sub faction of Crusaders have that sort of coloring to them too, and they also are meant to be a little kind of random, not randomized, but they're sort of intentionally mixed up. And then finally, there's this one. There was this helmet that this Crusaders shield that came out a while ago that had it kind of red and blue quartered with some keys. And so I decided again to have the arms and legs match that. So actually this guy isn't done quite properly, but most of these guys have this guy isn't right. But all the other guys are sort of offset arms and legs, if that makes sense, to match the shield that is sort of offset.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have all these figs. I may as well use them for something, or at least display them in a way that looks nice. And I don't just want a bunch of clones that will look the same. So yeah, that's one little thing I've been doing with. I have many other sub factions too, but that's my quick teaser for. I can share more later if you're interested. But that's part of what I do with my minifigs, and I have aspirations to do some wargaming with them, but I need to get around to that and find someone to do it with me. But that's a Lego thing, and I think that's. I don't have anything real new to show off, but that's a thing I've been puttering around with.
Nice.
Thanks.
All right, Steve. We had big plans for Steve tonight to multi-camera, multimedia presentation,
Yeah.
and it didn't work. So, how are you?
All right. So I wanted to kind of show what I've been working on a little bit. A couple weeks ago, I started taking everything apart and hooking up lighting, which I don't recommend doing that in that order. I recommend lighting up first and then building around your wires and all that. But I've got all of my base plates are now hooked up, so I just have one plug, and it's all modular. So I'm using like the wireless power connectors that you would put in between floors, and put them sideways. So like on this guy here, you can kind of see I've got it right there. So I can just slide. It's for ease of setup. So I can just like put all my base plates together, and I don't have to worry about fishing wires and doing all that stuff. So I got that going on. So that's nice. And I've got the 3 buildings back there all lit up. So now it's on to the last one, which I've started. I wired it first, so that's good. Trying to figure out now, because they're Gargantos, I'm using olive green, dark tan, and sand green. So I'm trying to have the buildings around him not incorporate those colors if I can, because I want him to kind of stand out and not blend in. And I'm trying to also use colors that I have, so I don't have to order anything. And I have a ton of sand green and a ton of dark tan. So I'm kind of like, well, now what do I do? So I've got, kind of show you what I was working on yesterday. So I've got a coral building. And one of the colors that works great with coral is sand green. So I might have to use
Coral.
sand green somehow. So I don't know. Kind of thinking about how I want to color this one up, because it's going to be right in the front. So it's got to be detailed and look really pretty and everything. But that's kind of what I was.
Can you show the detail of that work there, where you've got the thing flipped over? You had it
Sure.
on the.
If you can focus, there we go. So I've got this area right here. I've got some of those scrolly bricks. That's what I call them, upside down. So there's the two dark gray are tiles that are, one's right side up and one's studs upside down, and it's all connected together. I can kind of show you the back. So it's just those nipple pieces and some brackets and some 1x2 rounded plates. I love those things. So,
Mhm.
and then I've got some of those T-bars. They're not like, they're like a kind of like a pin, but they're holding the two. They're going, I wish I had an example of it, but they're going through each side of those 1x2 rounds. So you've got like these guys. So there's two of them, and then two of them this way, and then the T goes in between its sandwiches, and then there's like the little pin that sticks out that I was originally gonna like stick in like just one of these guys, like put both pins through the holes of the snot brick, but that ended up, the spacing wasn't right, so I had to try to figure out a way to make it so it was tight, so that the thing rested flat on this part. So I ended up getting kind of more elaborate than I wanted to, but it worked out. And now it's kind of cool because all four of my buildings now, that section that connects the first floor with the rest of it, that awning area, all four of them have incorporated some kind of upside down building technique in them. So
Cool.
It wasn't just like stacking bricks upwards. It's got some crazy techniques that probably like 5 people will notice at the show, and everyone else will just be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's Doctor Strange." So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. All you got. That looks amazing, dude.
And your hat looks amazing too. I like that.
Thanks.
I dare say, sir, you're becoming one of the best like city builders. You have a style and a rhythm and everything in your builds that's pretty darn incredible. So
Yeah,
that's
I really like New York and like the East Coast style of architecture. It's kind of like the modular. That's where like they're basing it on Dutch architecture, where like all the buildings are kind of crammed next to each other. But I like how the East Coast stuff has a lot of ornate stuff on it, a lot of decorations. I don't know all the official architecture terms, like
There's a Facebook.
cantilever and
There's a Facebook group you might want to join just for. I don't know if you spend any time with Facebook, but there used to be a Facebook called Meeker, Meeker, and they were these like prefab, highly decorative storefronts that they would put on buildings, and they were made out of cast iron. It was a cast iron decorative front, and people would just post like cool buildings from, I think it was Meeker, something that you'll see in some of these buildings in New York and Baltimore and Philly, you know, these East Coast places. But I always just got a kick out of seeing some of that stuff. And when I went to New York the last summer, I definitely took pictures of just buildings I thought just looked really fun. And it's a lot more fun building a highly ornate building out of Lego than it is building like a super sleek modernist look, because it's like, oh, look, it's another flat panel.
Yeah, I read an article, and by article I mean it was like this thing on Instagram that was like a slideshow.
Okay.
But it was talking about how minimalism is starting to like not trickle down, but it's influencing architecture now, and like how cities don't really have a lot of character because everything is very minimalistic and sleek looking, and from like the park benches to the buildings to whatever, you know, it's all kind of becoming just very, whatever the word is.
Bland.
Yeah.
It goes in
Utilitarian.
waves. I mean, that's the history of architecture. You have stuff that's very detailed, and then it becomes very simplified, and then it gets people, you know, a couple generations later, people get interested in detail again. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Looks great. But I mean, I'm just saying your skill set has, in the times that the time that I've known you and you've been hanging out with us and everything, have been skyrocketing. You know, you hit your rhythm, you hit your stride, and it's almost like you're breathing it really easy and everything, and figuring pretty complex things out.
It's definitely,
really easy, so I'm
buildings are
impressed.
definitely my wheelhouse, I'd say. Like, it's probably I feel most comfortable with buildings. That's why I keep procrastinating on actually building Gargantos. That character building's hard, so I keep like distracting myself with easy architecture stuff.
well, Chris likes to use the term muscle memory. There's a lot of truth to that. I mean, you build something, like you built the really tall, your tall building with the buildings at the angle, and you get better and better at it. I mean, my mom and dad came last spring, and Adam had asked me to build some New York City facades to be his backdrops for some Batman stuff he was shooting. And I brought like trays of 3 different colors of Lego down, and I set up this folding table behind the couch because all of us were watching a movie together, just chatting. And I was like, fine, I'm going to build. And my parents went to bed like 10 o'clock, and I worked till like 12:30, and I finished one entire facade. My dad's like, you built that whole thing after we went to bed? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, it's just one side of it. It's just the front. And I'm like, I built a lot of buildings, and you've got that same, you've got that talent. You've built up your default tricks, and you know how to make windows, and you know how to like change the profile. And once you get that down, I mean, like, Giddens could build spaceships in the dark, probably. We could blindfold him. He could probably make a spaceship.
The darkness of space.
Yes, and the
No one
dark.
can hear you, Grushel.
What?
I was like, no one can hear any Grusheling in space if there's no sound.
Oh, that's funny.
When you get to the end of a bag and you're like, I have 2 pieces left over that I should not have left over. So what did I skip?
All right, so on to some Lego. By the way, what I'm building, I made myself a sticker for the Beta 1 command base because it has a Lego flag, so I upsized it. But it has an interesting print. On the other side, they flip the logo over. So the logo is backwards on the other side of the flag, and I'm not sure why they did it that way, but I've repeated that in the set. So I just printed that on the color printer on a label. So there it is.
Spaceships can only fly one direction. You know that.
That's right. So this is their surrender flag, I guess. They flip this around, and this is the OK flag. So I'm not going to get this on camera, but I also worked on some screens for inside. You're not going to see them, but there's some command center in there. So I'm doing the interiors. I got the little beds and the command chairs and stuff like that going on inside the Beta 1. So it is pretty much done, except for some just doodads here and there. So, and now I moved on to 81, and I showed y'all this last week, but I have the, which was my favorite set growing up, was the little launch vehicle with the trailer, the little launch vehicle, and spaceship. So that's built in Mike Psyche scale and everything. So
bigger screen so we can see it.
Oh, okay. Well, I gotta hit all the buttons. All right, hang on.
I know. It's hard.
It's hard.
That's what she said.
Exactly.
Hello. All right. So,
Now.
So anyway, this is the Star Patrol launcher. I believe that's the name of it. But this was cool because it was this little really gray industrial little vehicle with a little sleek fighter on the back of it that would launch. And is one of my favorites. So I am big in it.
Looks awesome.
And
Can
Mike's
you
like,
can you elaborate for any listener or watcher who doesn't know Mike Psyche scale? What does that mean?
Mike Psyche scale, the was it the 10497? Is that the Galaxy Explorer number?
Yeah.
10497. The when they designed that, they made it a size or 1.5 times as big or whatever. So the Galaxy Explorer as a kid's hand was this big. So in adults' hands, it's sizable up anyway. So there's a certain scale and how he did the techniques for wings and stuff like that. So I'm building all the sets from 78. Now I'm starting into 81, all the classic space sets in that style. So I'm about to be out of, I've got probably 6 base plates for the bases and a couple of landing plates. So I'll build some more of that along. But anyway, so it's fun. Like this is the ship from the beta one. I actually changed out the cockpit from maybe the last time I showed y'all. This is the launcher ship and everything. But the wing style is the same as the Galaxy Explorer, the technique he used, which is amazing. And so a lot of fun. The bad thing is I'm running out of red hub wheels. You would figure I wouldn't, but I need them bigger and bigger sizes. And I kind of have this aversion to going to Bricks and Minifigs and buying stupid tires because I hate tires. I have buckets and buckets of tires over there. I don't want to buy any more.
The first vehicle you showed, the hubcaps were sticking out pretty far. Is that because they need bigger tires?
That set actually went up a size in tire from the classics, from the first one. So yeah, I did, and I did that so I could cover up the one that I don't have the right color hub for because I'm out because I have 5 and I needed 6.
Yeah.
So I just put dishes and stuff on there. If I find the right hubs, I'm going to switch them back out. So
yeah. Okay. Cool.
But
if not, put little spikes on the wheels coming out. That way it looks like like those transport trucks that have the spiky nuts. Wait, not nuts.
The ones with the gladiatorial chariot races or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Wazowski. That's true.
That's kind of what I think about when you say the guy's name. I think of Monsters Inc.
Mike Psyche. Yeah, Mike Wazowski. Who is a super nice guy. He came to Atlanta and visited with us at a lug meeting, and you almost figure like one of those guys is supposed to be kind of aloof and kind of cocky about stuff. I mean, he designed the Sat-5 rocket. He's designed the shuttle. Most of the really cool builds that we build, he's designed, and he's just a kind of laid back, kind of a nerd mathematician genius sitting there, but he's a pretty chill guy. So he's really neat fella. All right. So did you guys see that there is a contest Lego has put out called the Lego Ideas Timeless Creations Contest? Have y'all seen this?
I have not.
All right. Let me share the screen. Is it that one? Yeah, that's that one. There it is right there. All right. So the Timeless Creations is where you build something ordinary that can be displayed for years. Well, that's half my stinking collection. I don't know what the so you're making something basically it's another in the line of the Polaroid and the typewriter and the globe. Finalists will be chosen in late May, and finalists will be chosen for a fan vote in late May. The winning build will be announced September 8th. What are they taking the summer off? I mean, so here's the deal: you give 1% of the sales of the product, 10 copies, credit and bio as the fan designer and everything. Entries that are selected are not winner. Oh, you get there's the those are the conciliatory or whatever. Yeah. Prizes and everything. So what would you make? What would be timeless?
A swing line.
A red swing line?
Yeah.
Timeless?
I swear if they steal my stapler one more time, I'm burning this place down.
Yeah, and a little box of matches beside it.
Yeah.
That would be...
Ooh, a floppy disk because it's still the save icon in all of our applications.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. That's true. Or although they've made a VHS tape because it's in the Disney set.
Yep.
Hmm.
Timeless. That's all.
What else?
I don't know. I'm thinking of an old school phone or something, but they've kind of done the phone booth before.
Yeah.
And
They've done a radio.
What
they've
about
done
the
a
And
bell?
radio.
something that's is
the
the
bell
idea something
phone.
that is like retro and old, or what's the idea behind this?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. Pencil sharpener. That would be cool to make an old school pencil sharpener and some pencils.
Yeah.
So here's a question that Jeff and maybe Magnus can answer. In the U.S., basically there was one phone. Everybody had the same Bell phone up until the 80s when we started getting like more fun phones of different colors. But everybody had like the same black phone where you basically set the receiver down in the cradle. I'm assuming that other countries may have had other phones, or did they use the same Bell technology? Did they have the exact same phone that everybody had in the United States? Like you could make an old style phone with the cradle and the little curly wire coming out of it. That would be a throwback.
Yeah, I mean, we
And
have
with
this
the dial, the one you kind of put your finger and you dial it around.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Did you-
don't remember they all look the same, but they similar concept. It wasn't like they
Well,
all. They were all.
I think
It's
if
not
you-
like they were all black and look like they'd been made in the same communist factory, and everyone had to have exactly the same kind. But
Okay,
surely
they
in
were all
America
the
there was
same.
some variety too.
They were all the same shape, but you could get them, I think, more than one color. But like mostly they were pretty boring.
Beige, tan color. I remember phones often being
Yep.
kind of like a tan, kind of a light tan color.
Did they have those in Norway? Do you remember when you went there as a kid?
I don't remember what kind of phones. I don't remember that the phones in Norway look different from the phones in England, if that makes
Okay.
sense. But I
Alright.
lived in England till I was 11. So if I'd gone to Norway and they had been like weird phones, I might have remembered that. But I don't remember that being like. I don't remember coming to America on vacation when I was 8 and thinking the phones looked different. I don't remember that being different.
I remember seeing the first like push button phone without a rotary. You know, it was a still on the desk phone with the 12 buttons or 20 buttons. I don't know how many on it. And it was like, ooh, that's like I just want to hit the buttons because I felt like I was driving a spaceship or something. You know what I'm saying? Because it was cool.
Everyone in the 90s had the same Sony cordless phone, though.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you had to set it on the charger or it'd run out of battery and you'd be like,
There's a GI Joe toy called the Cobra Wolf, which is kind of this winter kind of vehicle that doesn't look like any actual vehicle, but it looks a lot like a telephone. It's sort of this asymmetrical design with like the cockpit on one side and then a bunch of missiles on the other. It's one of my favorite GI Joe toys, and I always wondered if that was inspired by just someone looking at a telephone and being like, let's turn that into a toy.
Somebody lost a bet. I bet you can't make that into a toy. And yeah, he lost.
Chris will probably know. There's like some artist who would take ordinary household objects and use them as an inspiration point and turn them into spaceships with like little guns and engines and stuff. And then he would show like the original household object and what it looked like after he spaceship sized it. It sounds like that's what they did with this, Joe thing.
Yep. Yeah,
Well,
I've seen that on like DeviantArt and stuff like that. Some guy has an account that does that.
Well, is this common knowledge or is this not true or myth? But I heard that the way they have you also heard about how they came up with the shape from the Millennium Falcon? That they were
The burger with a pickle on the side of it.
Yeah, someone was just having a hamburger and he bit a chunk out of the hamburger and he held it up and it was like this crescent like hamburger and he was like, let's turn this into a spaceship.
Sounds like Browntron.
Oh, I need to build some Browntron.
Sounds delicious to me.
Steve was saying grandfather clock.
Oh, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Walkman would be nice.
I mean, we've had the VHS tape, but we haven't had like a VHS or a beta player,
Oh,
which would be really boring. But
That reminds me, I need to do my weekly update
On.
on Thomas.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. The
Oh, yeah.
progress. All right, tell us the progress.
So for people who didn't see my first update, Thomas hinted several times that he wanted the Atari console set, and he only builds like sets that are this big. So like this is usually it. And so I gave it to him for Christmas. It was not opened for 3 months. And so like he was saying, well, there's too much clutter. And I was like, okay, fine. I cleared off this table behind the couch, and I opened the box and I set out all the poly bags, and he opened the first poly bag and built the cartridge. But that's it. That's only like half of the first poly bag. And I said that I was curious to know if he would ever finish it. And I was like, I'll do a weekly update. So he doesn't know this yet, but so he finished bag 1. So he only built the cartridge before, and then it's got like this little yellow castle thing that's from the game, and he finished the yellow castle. So bag 1 is complete. We now have 1 bag out of like 30 bags. At this rate, he will finish it in 2026.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's the wrong button. That's hilarious. You need to just post a picture just randomly of it, with
I'll try to snap a picture when he's not paying attention and just post it.
Ooh, something that's timeless. Paneling. Paneled
Yeah.
walls. There you go.
That'd be easy.
There's a mock.
wait. Sandlin already has one. Howard still has those. So
Well, and technically I have it in here. I just painted them all white. I mean,
My
I bought
dad
the
sells
paneling
them.
like 10 years ago, and it was like a beige color, but I painted it white just to brighten the room up.
That's why you're a trendsetter,
It is, yes.
fashion forward.
Oh, I almost knocked over a cup. Oh, I almost pulled a Giddens. Got my sweet tea all over my desk.
Yeah. Although I have a nice clean spot over there where I did that last week, so I had to clean that area and move all the junk somewhere else. What about one of the classic TVs that had the tube up top, kind of round, and then the wood box was underneath it, kind of retro-y looking kind of thing? That might be cool.
The giant console TV.
Yeah. Oh, my dad had one of those. The one with the big, looked like the screen of the Enterprise, and had the mirror out front with the 3 cameras. Oh yeah, we had one of those. That thing was awesome.
Oh yeah.
And what you need is not the wireless remote, but the wire connected remote, where there's like the little tiny thing that came out of the TV, and you could sit all the way over on your couch and do the clicker. You could change the channels without getting up and walking all the way across the room.
How about
Tim
that
Dang.
couch? How about the couch your grandmother had with the plastic covers on it?
Mine
That's
didn't do
timeless.
that.
No, mine didn't either. My grandmother lived in Holland, so. But I do recall that there's always been that trope of, hey, that's the same couch that everybody had or whatever.
The couch that had the really thick wood arms and then had the polyester cover, orange and whatever covers on the pillows and everything, that when you sat in it, the back of your legs kind of sweated because it was not absorbing any moisture. Yeah, I know.
I met someone here in Atlanta. So Atlanta has a burgeoning film industry. It's third only behind California, New York, in dollars spent on movies. And he's a set dresser. And so his job is to pick household items that fit the era of a particular thing. So if they're shooting something set in the 80s, it has like the Corel ware and the like kind of toaster you'd have in a kitchen from that time period. And I said, well, like, what is studio? And he goes, oh, we have warehouses that are just filled with like, this is like 1985. This over here is like 1991. And he's like, I said, he goes, oh yeah. He goes, that's all I do is they'll tell me what they want it to feel like. And then I go through the warehouse, and if I can't find stuff, and he said he goes to a lot of antique stores where he'll look for just ordinary things, that would fit with a particular time period or location. And I got scooped by one of these people. So we went out to Monroe, Georgia, which has this old cotton factory that's been converted into this giant antique store where each person has like a little square and they can sell their antiques. And we start walking around, and one of the cubes, this person had this amazing wooden chair with all this like kind of detailed work on it, and it was a former Masonic Lodge Grandmaster chair. So the leader of the lodge would sit in this like very ornate chair for the Masonic meetings, and I was like, I want that for a game room. Like it looked great. I was like, I want that. So, but we had brought a compact car. There's no way that was going to go back in the car. So we go home, and then like, I don't know, the next weekend I came out with the CRV, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for that chair. And they said, a set dresser bought it. And apparently it's in the movie, The Clocks in the Walls or something with Jack Black in it. And I went through and watched the whole movie looking for that chair, and I never saw it. I'm bitter.
They just wanted you to watch the movie.
I guess.
That's right. Well, we got one viewer. Let's see what we can do.
So they must have like iconic stuff like that yellow Walkman, that Sony Walkman from the 90s, or is that the kind of thing where you don't want to pay Sony money to do that, so you wouldn't actually use that?
They probably could obscure the word Sony and still put it in there.
Okay.
My guess.
Yeah. A lava lamp would be cool if you could pull that off.
Oh yeah.
That glass cone would be hard to do.
I mean, think about even some of the Marvel movies where, you know, they have flashback scenes and something's supposed to take place in a different decade. You know, that stuff happens quite frequently.
A Coke machine. Stever is coming out with some. Coke machine would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Or
Unless
real
it's
old school. You could have the cigarette machine that you could buy at every restaurant waiting area. Before it was
Pull that thing out.
not allowed, you know, it would be like, if you're under 18, you're not supposed to operate the machine, but otherwise you just drop your quarters in, get a pack of cigarettes.
I can remember finally being old enough and strong enough to pull, because we had the old Coke machine where you open you kind of open the door and you had to pull it out from the kind of the holders and everything. And I can remember finally being strong enough as a kid to pull that out of and when I was at the drugstore in my little hometown. So,
or the old cans that had the pull tabs, so it didn't just snap and crack, but you actually pulled the whole tab off to drink out of the soda. Well, I'm really aging.
People were getting their feet cut in like rivers and stuff with those. That's right. Yeah.
Let's leave sharp metal objects just laying around in our parks.
That seems like a great plan.
What could go wrong?
I don't remember what else. I think I want to try to make I think I really actually want to make a pencil sharpener. I think that'd be kind of fun.
So apparently when I was a little kid, my mother would take me to the park, and I was an infant, and I would crawl around on my hands and knees, and she had to constantly watch me, because if I would find a cigarette butt on the ground, I would pick it up, put it in my mouth. So, but nowadays they say, well, maybe one reason that kids have so many like allergies and stuff is they don't get exposed to enough harmful things.
Yeah,
when
they
they're
don't
kids.
put enough cigarette butts in their mouths.
Right. Parenting tip. You want a robust immune system? Let your 2-year-old put everything in their mouth.
Well, now I have read an article where kids who pick their nose and eat it have a better immune system because they're
really.
My son gets sick all the time, and that I can already just disprove that one.
Does that like last for life, or is it just so long as you're sort of picking your nose and eating it?
You have to keep it refreshed.
Yeah, that's right. It's called recycling.
At least he's eating it and he's not wiping it on stuff. So I got that going for me.
You come down and see that little green streak down the hallway. You're like, oh, come on.
The most
disgusting.
The most gross booger story I've heard is someone who was at a kid's birthday party, and they saw some little kid like pull a booger out, and then they looked around and they realized they weren't supposed to eat it, at least not in public, and they were supposed to put it away, but there was nowhere to put it, so they just put it back in.
just reupholster that side right there. So
that's actually pretty creative.
Good. Yeah, there you go. Stat point for it being good for immune system. There you go. So, a WD-40 can. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, cool contest, I suppose for the for Lego to do. I wonder if there'll be a lot of people participating. That seems more kind of pointed towards us rather than younger viewers, I guess I would say. So I don't know.
My chair's losing its hydraulicness. Go some lower. Ugh.
Astronomical telescope. That's a good idea.
Oh, telescope. Yeah, that's a cool one.
You know, the first season of Lego Masters, that telescope that Tyler and them built with all the imagination stuff, that was very cool. That could have been a set in a minute. Been a couple of telescopes on Lego Masters. Speaking of, go ahead.
First gen cell phone from the 80s.
The flip phone, that'd be cool. Or the Nokia.
No, like the ones that like are the size of like a World War II walkie-talkie, like a big chunky thing.
Like that big walkie-talkie on like they would have on MASH when they were, you know, on the thing. Yeah, that's pretty fun. So we didn't get to talk about this, that they have actually, you know, they are casting for season 6, but they've kind of semi put a picture out that they would do an upcoming season, which is the mysterious and lost season 5 and everything. So
I heard season 5 was the Christmas special. No.
No, they filmed one. They've got a season in the can.
Yeah.
So, but their Instagram had like, you know, coming soon, you know, season of Lego Masters. But let me see if I can pull it up. But we still just haven't heard diddly squat about it, which is so weird.
Yeah, it's a weird one for sure. I mean, it sucks too because those people will never, like, if it doesn't air, you know, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I was season 5 Lego Master." We'll be like, "Okay."
Yeah. So, hang on. There we go. So on their Lego Masters on their Instagram feed, they have the multi-pick thing here. Lego Masters hosted by Wilmot will be on Fox, stream on Hulu. So that's an announcement, an explosive new season, but still, what is this? 2 weeks old, and still haven't said anything about it. It's just weird to me. Very strange.
What is going on?
It's a mystery. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we've all noted that it seems viewership on Lego Masters is kind of waned. Do you think they're gonna Lego chicken rid of it? Sure. That'll be comfortable. Do you think they're going to continue, or are they gonna? Because they were supposed to be a Lego Masters Junior, right? We had heard talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did they film that one? Oh yeah, we had heard that they had rumored that they had filmed that.
Wasn't
too.
that season 5 though? Or no?
Maybe it was season 5, but
I think this is a celebrities edition. You get a couple of a bunch of celebrities who are associated with everything from entertainment to, you know, retired politicians. People have nothing in common with each other, and then put them in teams, and then they have to work together on building Lego and see who's good.
Well, that's what the Christmas one was.
Or was that what I didn't see the Christmas one?
Yeah, it's a celebrity with an actual builder who knows how to put bricks down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
Well,
could do a full season of that. That would probably be horrible for the builder.
It also would like the celebrities actually take that much time out of their schedule.
Well, there's that too. How much is that? How much are they getting paid? Or
they're probably getting paid more than the Lego Master contestant for sure.
Well, the thing to keep in mind about the Lego Masters TV show is like, would they do it? I mean, if it gets, yeah, obviously they would want to do it. If it's getting horrible ratings, they're not going to do another season. But in terms of like how much money it takes to produce a show, one reason that there's so much reality TV show content is that it's relatively cheap content.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
like, you know, if you're on the show, you do get paid a small amount of money, but it's small. You know, it's not like a star actor, actress that has to get paid, you know, millions of dollars to appear in season 4. Like, we're cheap talent, very cheap talent.
Because we're like, yes, I'll be on your TV show.
Yeah, just
So-
please cast me. I'll do whatever. You want me to change my hair? Okay, I'll do that. You want me to wear lab coats? Sure, I'll wear a lab coat.
That's right. All right. All right, everybody. Well, we are a little bit after the hour. It's been a great conversation hanging out together. Lots of folks and everything. So if you've got ideas for that contest, you watch this later, stick them in the comments later on if you come up with ideas, and then we'll steal them and build them and be famous and get 1% of the profits. So yeah.
Although as Jeff has pointed out in his show, 1% of the profits isn't nothing to sneeze at for some of these.
Well, Bricklink Designer Program, I think, is 5% of the profit, so
5%.
that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
1% still, like, I mean, we can calculate how much Bricklink Designer Program makes because we know it's 30,000 copies, and if they sell out, you can totally calculate what they're making. But some of those guys stand to make, $500K on $30,000 worth of sets,
That
or
sounds pretty good to
30,000
me.
copies of sets.
About time I built an award-winning set.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
Well, there's at least one person who's built several, right? That
oh yeah,
castle
for
builder?
sure. Well, Jason Allman over the years,
Yeah. okay,
he's
Jason.
built True Dimensions, or JK Brickworks, I guess is his thing nowadays,
Yeah.
from the old days.
Yep. All right. Well, get your builds going. You got to the end of May, but then they've got a whole summer to come up with the winners. Anyway, all right, everybody, have a great night. Be awesome and build awesome. Be kind to your neighbor, and don't do anything stupid. All right, get ready for, speaking of stupid, loud noises. Ah!